Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another Friday Findings video at keepsakecrafts.net. One of the most popular pieces of jewelry there is to make is the bracelet. It's always fun to wear a bracelet because you're decorating yourself, but you can also see it and enjoy it. But sometimes getting a bracelet to be the right size can be tricky. Paula Binkley on one of my Friday Findings videos asked, I have the hardest time determining the size of a bracelet. Do you have a typical size you use for bracelets? How long would your bracelet be before the clasp? Thank you for your amazing videos. Keep up the great work. Well, Paula, thank you for the nice comments. If you're having a hard time determining the size of a bracelet, my best advice would be to find one that you like the fit of and measure that. Usually a clasp will add about an inch to the length. That was the answer I gave Paula on the video. And I give that based on a few things. First of all, I don't know if you follow my blog, you may know that I'm also a seamstress. In fact, that's my handle everywhere I go is Sandy Sewin'. I've been sewing my own clothes for many years now, and the best advice I can give you if you're trying to find something that fits you is to take something that's of a similar style and fabric weight and measure it, and then use that to measure the new pieces that you want to make. And that way it will suit you. And it's kind of the same with bracelets because you can see here I've got all these different styles. I've got a very fine, delicate bracelet. I have this one with loads of dangles. It's very chunky. I have this one with these thick lentil beads. I have these with lampwork beads that again add quite a bit of thickness. You can't just choose one size and then settle on that. You have to make adjustments, just like in the clothing, for the style and the type of fabric you use, because a wool jacket's going to fit different than a t-shirt. The same with these bracelets. This one is going to need to be a different length than this one. Now, a couple tips to help you making your bracelets the right length. Well, first of all, you make it adjustable. For example, on this one, I have a little bit of chain here, just, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch of chain. And so this lobster clasp can fit into any of those links and help make fine adjustments for the size. And that will help you, give you a little bit of leeway. Also, take the time to choose and measure your clasp before you get started. And keep in mind that the crimps and the crimp covers and the wire all take up space. So here's the lobster clasp on this bracelet, but this is a bracelet that was crimped, and you can see from here I have a crimp under there, a really messy crimp cover, a wire protector and wire, and that adds maybe not quite a 1/2 inch, so that adds something to the length of your bracelet. So you need to keep that in mind. And then there's also the thickness. When you have beads that are this bulky, if you picture that the size of your bracelet is the circumference around your wrist, and if you have a bulky bead, it's going to stand out further, which means you need a bigger circumference or a longer bracelet. So this rope without the beads on it is going to fit rather differently. It's going to be a lot looser than it would with the beads on it. So you have to keep all that in mind and do some measuring and adjusting. And the more you do, the more acquainted you'll get with just how much you need to add to each one. But to get a measurement, really your best tool is just a tape measure. And especially if you're doing this for somebody else, you want to measure around the wrist and include this wrist bone right here. So you just wrap around there. And so mine's about 6.5. But I don't want most of my bracelets to fit this snugly. That would be uncomfortable. And I tend to like my bracelets to be around 7.25 inches. So for a snug fit, you'd add about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. For a comfortable fit, what I like to add about 3/4 to an inch. And for a loose fit, add 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches. And again, it really depends on the style of bracelet and just how tightly you like it to fit. And so let me show you, just demonstrate here. So here's this bracelet. It's, like I said, a very fine, delicate bracelet. You can see this is, I wouldn't want this any tighter than this, but it fits fine. And then here's another bracelet that actually fits similarly. It's snug, it's not moving around easily. I wouldn't want it any tighter, but it's fine. And now when I take these off, you can see the difference, quite a bit of difference in the length of these bracelets in order to get the exact same fit. And like I said before, that's accounted for because these beads are so thick, you need a bigger circumference. So that's why I say the best thing to do is find a bracelet that you like the fit of, that is comfortable, and measure it. And that will help you determine a good fit for a bracelet. So if you're making bracelets to sell, it really is a good idea to just get in the habit of adding a little bit of chain and finding a way to make them adjustable. It'll make your customers happy and give you a lot less headaches. The average wrist size, just to answer Paula's question, I have a chart here that says petite is 7. I'm not petite, but I guess that's all relative. Medium is 7.5 to 8. Large is 8.5. Plus size is 9. Those seem a little big to me. There was a lady, a friend of a friend, who was making jewelry. She made very nice jewelry. She was the tiniest thing. She had the smallest little wrist bones. And all of her bracelets, when I tried them on, I felt like a giant because none of them even came close to closing. She made them all to fit herself. So something to keep in mind that if you're going to make them to sell, anywhere from 6.5 to 8 inches really is on average. But you can always ask your customers to measure their wrist and then measure a bracelet that they like the fit of if you're making custom orders. So I hope you found that helpful. And if you're interested in some of these projects that I've made, I'll have links at my blog post for them. And you can find the link to the blog post in the description box or just click on the tag in the upper right. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Take a peek at my Patreon page for how you can get great rewards and help support these tutorials. Happy creating. Bye-bye.